Good evening and welcome again to Ukrainian Magazine. My name is Bill Cornello, and along with Tamara Denisenko, we will be co-hosting tonight's Ukrainian American TV program.
Добрий вечір і вітаємо вас до українського журналу, до одинокої української телевізійної програми на терені міста Рочестер і околиці. Василю, що ми будемо мати сьогодні?
Tamara, дякую. Tonight's show, we will include the Ukrainian Independence Day commemoration that was held January 21st in City Hall. Tamara?
25th.
25th. You always correct me, but that's fantastic. We also will be showing you the Ukrainian opera that performed here at Eastridge High School, and that was the Zaporozhian Cossacks. We also have a little clipping of an interview with the famous Metropolitan Opera star, Paul Plishka. We also have a little segment today on Ukrainians, one of the Ukrainians' better poets, and that was Ivan Franko. And also we'd like to continue on with something that we started earlier, and that was the Ukrainian Community Bulletin Board.
Так. Ми щиро запрошуємо вас провести цю годину із нами, де ви побачите різні події, які відбулися в місті Рочестер у січні і в лютому. Наша українська громада є дуже активна, і у цих двох місяцях дуже багато подій відбулося. Ви побачите уривки із відзначення 22 січня у місцевому ратуші, у City Hall у Рочестері, як також концерт з нагоди 22 січня. І ми маємо приємну несподіванку, фільм з України, базований на творі Івана Франка «Украдене щастя».
You know, Tamara, some of our viewers in the past couple of months been trying to keep up with us and trying to turn those dials, watching, you know, what channel we're going to be on. And we finally like to announce to our viewers that cable television has finally settled down on 2 channels for Ukrainian Magazine showings. And that will be, Ukrainian Magazine will be seen the last Sunday of the month on Channel 2 in the suburbs and Channel 33 in the city and in Webster.
Так, ми пригадуємо нашим глядачам, що ми мали перед тим нашу програму на станції 6 і 33, але через різні зміни ми тепер будемо мати нашу програму на станції 2 за містом, а 33 у Вебстер і у місті. То просимо за нами пильнувати на тих станціях. І також наші глядачі нам казали, що через нашу програму вони мають нагоду більше зустрічатися із своїм товариством. Вони всі мають станцію Cable у Рочестері, то вони один до одного йдуть у гості і собі розвивають товариство. І ми дуже раді, що ми могли до того спричинитися.
Знаєш, Тамара, наші люди все шукають причину, щоб десь зустрітися і погуляти.
Так, так.
And now we'd like to say a couple of words from our sponsors.
Власники похоронного заведення Павла Герреса щиро дякують усім родинам української громади міста Рочестер, котрим протягом 40 років вони сумлінно служили в годині смутку по втраті дорогої їм особи. Власники похоронного заведення запрошують всіх порівняти їхнє приміщення, щиру обслугу і ціни до других. У час потреби або за передвчасною порадою звертайтесь до українського погребника Павла Герреса. The Rochester Ukrainian Federal Credit Union now offers its members a new and beneficial service, share drafts, credit union checking accounts. With credit union share drafts, there is no monthly service charge, you earn dividends, there is no minimum balance, you get instant carbonless copies with each draft you write, and monthly statements detailing all your transactions. Qualified members receive a special overdraft and direct deposit privilege. Credit union share drafts are a great leap beyond ordinary checking. За найкращою, сумлінною і веселою українською обслугою при направі аут всіх виробів звертайтесь до Павла Прокопенка, власника гаража Paul's Mobile Service при 1196 Portland Avenue. Телефон 266-8053.
Wedding memories will last forever with a video wedding by Videotech Productions. The ceremony, the guests, those special moments. special effects and graphics, and much, much more in full color and sound. For more information, write Videotech Productions, 227 Vineyard Drive, Rochester, New York, 14616, or call 621-6413.
Each year, Ukrainian Americans observe a most important date in Ukrainian history, January 22nd, 1918, 1919, Ukrainian Independence and Unity Day. As in the past, this year's observances began with ceremonies in City Hall, Rochester, New York, Friday, January 25th, where about 150 Ukrainian Americans gathered and commemorated this event. Tamara, I understand you were there this past year.
Так, цього року українська громада відзначила роковини державності і соборності України 25 січня у City Hall. І це відбулося заходом Комітету об'єднаних українських організацій міста Рочестер, відділ УКК. Головним промоутером цього свята був Євген Лилак, а пан Роман Куціль був господарем цього свята, де майор міста Томас Райан зачитав прокламацію щодо проголошення незалежності України.
During this commemorative observance, a Ukrainian magazine was fortunate enough to have an interview with Mayor Ryan and also with Roman Kusil, who is the Ukrainian American Congress Committee coordinator for the Rochester branch. And now some highlights from the show.
Thank you, and it's already been noted, I guess, that the events today are not quite the same without Bill and Dushin, but I do want you to know that just before we came over here this morning, he called the office to give me my last-minute instructions anyhow, so he must be feeling somewhat better. But recently I was asked by a reporter a number of proclamations that we issued and sort of an ongoing discussion we have, and I said, he asked me which one I thought was my favorite proclamation that I've issued over the years. And I said, without a doubt, the one that we have for Ukrainian Independence Day. And I know I've talked to other people about it and how impressive it is to see this many people here every year to celebrate this anniversary.
We commemorate our Independence Day in much the same way Americans would commemorate the 4th of July, if suppose America had been overrun by the Russians and you were forced as Americans to live elsewhere. Surely Americans, no matter where they went, where they settled, where they would be living, be it England or Australia or Canada, they would proudly think about their Independence Day, their independence, and celebrate even if their own country were a captive nation. So we Ukrainians too want to commemorate our country and continue to honor our heroic ancestors. We want to keep the memory of their actions alive and vital within our hearts and within our minds. We want to remember the brave men and women who fought to throw off the yoke of Russian tyranny and died without ever seeing their goals realized. We want to think of the millions of Ukrainians who fought for a free Ukraine and died before the 22nd of January, 1918. Those people could only have imagined the greatness of free Ukraine would have achieved. Their ideals, their faith, brought about a change that no matter how short-lived, would have brought a growth in the Ukrainian nation, its culture, its art, its politics.
Whereas January 22nd, 1985 marks the 67th anniversary of the Ukrainian declaration of an independent Ukrainian republic. And whereas the spirit of national unity and the desire for self-determination and freedom is still strong today among the people of the Ukraine, despite their domination by the Soviet Union. And whereas citizens of Ukrainian descent have greatly enriched our community by their important contributions to civic betterment and good citizenship. Now, therefore, I, Thomas Ryan, Mayor of the City, do hereby proclaim January 25th, 1985 be Ukrainian Independence Day in Rochester, and urge all Rochesterians to salute the efforts of our Ukrainian friends on behalf of restoring an independence to the Ukraine, issued on this date, January 1985. Thank you very much.
Mayor Ryan, today you issued a proclamation to commemorate the Ukrainian Independence Day. Why do you think it's important to issue such proclamations, and why do you think the American public should know about Ukrainian Independence Day and possibly participate in the activities?
I think, first of all, it's important to remember that, that some of the foreign powers that we're dealing with don't have the same respect or the same values that we do. I think, and more relevant probably to us in this country, is that we take for granted our freedom and our right of self-determination. And I think this is a reminder to all of us that those things that we think are so precious are things that we have to defend. But secondly, I think it raises our level of awareness, how fortunate we are in this country to have freedom and the right of self-determination. But I say every year that we've done this proclamation, I think it's my 11th year since I've been mayor, I am so impressed with the people that come here and to celebrate the anniversary date of Ukrainian independence, and I'm equally impressed with the students and how well behaved they are.
Thank you very much, and the Ukrainian community thanks you for participating in our observances all the time.
Thank you.
Пане Коціль, сьогодні ми відзначили День української незалежності. Чому ви вважаєте є головним в американському ратуші відзначувати щорічно наші українські незалежності?
Дата 22 січня 18 і 19 року – це скрижалі, на яких наш народ виписав і задокументував право до волі, до самостійного життя. Це гранітні стовпи, на якому ми будуємо наше державне життя. Це також заповідь для нас, куди ми маємо йти. Тому дуже важливо, щоб ми, нащадки наших батьків і прадідів, продовжували діло, яке вони почали. Цебто жити на рідній землі самостійним, незалежним життям.
Щиро дякую, пане Коціль.
We'd like to thank Mayor Ryan and the Rochester Ukrainian Congress Committee and the Rochester community for participating in the Ukrainian Independence Day commemorative held in Rochester on January 22nd. We also would like to remind our viewing audience and any organization that if you have any Ukrainian American event coming up soon, to let us know, and we would like to give you coverage for our future programming.
Ми закликаємо всіх наших місцевих організацій, щоб зверталися до нас, і ми дуже радо прийдемо і накрутимо вашу подію, яку ви будете мати, і покажемо на нашій телевізійній програмі. Ми є тут служити вам і показувати американцям і нашим українцям, що діється в українській громаді тут в Рочестері. То якщо ви маєте якусь подію, прошу дуже звертайтеся до нас, і ми постараємося прийти до вас і накрутити вашу подію.
Як гарно і мило. Right now, Tamara would like to introduce our next segment, the Zaporozhian Cossacks operetta that was held here in Rochester last month.
Для відзначення роковин державності і соборності України була святочна академія в Eastridge High School 26 січня. Цю академію поповнили хор «Дніпро» і танцювальний ансамбль «Веселка» із Садбері, Канада. Головним промовцем був отець Федір Коваленко. Хор і танцювальний ансамбль виконали оперету «Запорозькі герці». Це є оперета у 3 діях, яка показала життя із козацької доби.
On Saturday, the 26th, over 500 people attended the Zaporozhian Cossacks Ukrainian 3-part operetta performed by the Ukrainian Federation Dnipro Choir and Veselka Dance Ensemble from Sudbury, Canada. Over 70 members of the troupe depicted in song, prose, and dance a bygone era and a Ukrainian village and Cossack life of the 17th century Ukraine. The Dnipro Choir was organized in Sudbury, Canada 55 years ago and performed all over Canada and the United States. Most recently, the ensemble traveled to Argentina and Venezuela. And now some highlights, Tamara,
Before we start that, the interesting part about the choir is that most of the participants are young people, 3rd and 4th generation Canadians who may not speak the language, but they just love the Ukrainian singing and in particular the Ukrainian dancing, and they really showed their enthusiasm and their love for their culture.
And for our viewers, let's see how they did. Tamara, wasn't that a fantastic performance?
Yes, they're really great, and I really enjoyed the concert, and it was a pleasure to see so many people at the concert.
You know, this is just some of the things that are going to be shown here on Ukrainian Magazine in our future shows. So we want you to keep this in mind and look forward to seeing the beauty of the Ukrainian American culture.
And tune us in every last Sunday of the month from 7 to 8 and spend the evening with us.
And now a word from some of the people that make it happen, and are our sponsors.
Частина цієї програми є спонсорована Українським братським союзом, одної з передових братських допомогово-обезпеченевих українських установ Америці і Канади. Український братський союз виділяє модерні і догідні роди обезпечення, допомагає створює вакаційну оселю Верховину і видає тижневик «Народну волю» і англомовний журнал для молоді «Форум».
На всі ваші спеціальні оказії зайдіть до одинокої української крамниці напитків в місті Рочестер, власники якої є панство Люба і Любомир Шміглі. В крамниці Люба Ликор ви знайдете великий вибір різноманітних напитків з доступними цінами. Крамниця Люба Ликор знаходиться при 701 Tyrus Avenue в Івандикой. Телефон 266-3523.
Де ти хочеш піти зі мною на вечерю?
Ну, що підемо до Українського народного дому при 831 Джозеф Авеню. Там кожної п'ятниці від 4 до 7 години вечора подають смачну рибу, вареники, голубці і борщ, і також різні напитки.
Окей, Тамаро, я покличу за резервейшн.
A portion of Ukrainian Magazine is brought to you by Bohdan Wenglowski, attorney at law, located at 1020 Reynolds Arcade Building in Rochester. General practice services such as real estate, wills, probate, or criminal traffic matters. For more information, contact Bohdan Wenglowski at 1020 Reynolds Arcade or call 454-2181.
February 2nd this month, the Rochester Ukrainian community had the distinct pleasure to host the world-renowned opera star of the Metropolitan Opera, Maestro Paul Pliszka, who performed here at the Eastman Theater.
З заходом місцевих відділів Союзу Українок і за ініціативою Валентини Макогон і з підтримкою Золотого Хреста, Сестринства Церкви Святої Покрови і Української кредитової спілки, українська громада мала нагоду влаштувати зустріч із славним співаком українського роду Павлом Плішкою. Павло Плішка виступав з Рочестерською фільгармонією, співаючи уривки із опер. Після прийняття я мала нагоду мати із ним коротеньке інтерв'ю. І він є дуже приємний і багато нам розказав про себе.
And now for our viewers, a special interview given by Tamara of Maestro Paul Pliszka's stay here in Rochester.
Good evening, Mr. Pliszka, and welcome to Rochester. It was a pleasure listening to you at the concert tonight. Could you briefly tell us what motivated you? How did you get into the field of opera?
Well, it was not something I actually chose. I think it chose me more than the other way around. I was in high school doing a musical comedy, and the teacher in high school, who was my teacher who was involved in that, was an aspiring opera singer himself. And he introduced me to some friends of his that were forming a small opera workshop group and asked if I would like to sing with them. And for me, just singing anything didn't really matter what I sang. It was kind of fun to do. And I got involved with them and really enjoyed it and got a great deal of reward from it. I mean, from audiences, and they seemed to like what I did. And that sort of feeds it. You know, you sort of feed on that. I think one of the biggest things that singers don't necessarily perform for the money as much as they do to have their ego fed, you see. And it worked very well. And it was a lot of successes, and that was just sort of one thing. It sort of just built on itself, you know, and that's more or less the way it happened.
How did you get involved in the Ukrainian community? How did you find your Ukrainian roots?
Well, my grandparents came when they were around 1910, came from the old country, and my parents were born in the States. So when I was growing up, I was very American. I thought of myself as very American, and never really thought of it as Ukrainian being anything different, because there were a lot of Ukrainians where we lived, and I thought maybe everybody was Ukrainian or whatever, you know. But it was not something that, you know, you sort of made a fuss about, you know. It was just something, you're Americans, and that was it. And I was at the Met already, and all my publicity always said American Basol, Paul Pliszka, and that was the way I left it. And I was doing they were doing a new production of Boris Godunov at the Met, and someone was interviewing me, and he said, well, this Russian music should be easy for you because of your Russian heritage. And I said, well, I'm not Russian, I'm Ukrainian. And a lot of the Ukrainians read that article, and from that day on, life has never been the same. They have been very, very wonderful and warm, and they always make themselves known to me when I come into a town, and it's a very beautiful thing to know you arrive in a town and you get phone calls or messages from Ukrainians, and it's a very special thing. I will always look forward to it.
Well, they're very proud of their special son. And do you think there's any possibility maybe that we will have a Ukrainian opera on a professional level?
I think there actually have been. Toronto, I think, has done several. Toronto has done it. Big companies up there have done several performances. I'm not aware of it happening in the United States. I think it would probably have to be done on a festival level, because it's sort of limited to just the Ukrainians, I think, as a public. And they support to a degree, and they should support more. I think seeing it on an opera house like the Met or Chicago or San Francisco, I think it's not in the near future as far as I'm concerned. But unless there's a big community like Toronto that has a huge Ukrainian community, then you probably could see it.
Will you be performing at any Ukrainian functions in the near future?
I think I have plans to be at Suyozilka this summer. Somewhere near Labor Day, I think we're doing something.
Great, we'll be looking forward to seeing you,
Okay.
and welcome once again, and thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
You know, Tamara, it's great to see Mr. Maestro Paul Pliszka, third-generation Ukrainian, still highly involved in the Ukrainian community.
His heart is still Ukrainian.
I know, it's fantastic. And for our viewers, if you would still like to have a chance to see Mr. Pliszka, he'll be performing at the Suyozivka Resort on Labor Day weekend this year.
And he'll be singing Ukrainian songs there.
And also, speaking of Ukrainian community events, as part of the Ukrainian Magazine ongoing special that we provide our viewers, today we would like to continue on with the calendar of events portion, Tamara. And to start the calendar of events, March 3rd, 1985, St. Joseph's Ukrainian School is having an open house, and we invite our viewers and members of St. Joseph's Ukrainian School to come and see the facilities, see where you can get a spiritual and parochial education for your children. And
Yeah, it's an all-day school, like a regular American school, where the kids get a full, broad spectrum of the curriculum, plus 1 hour of Ukrainian studies every day.
And again, the date is March 3rd, 85, St. Joseph's School Open House.
Okay, on March 22nd and 23rd, through the sponsorship of RIT and many other local organizations, there will be a seminar, a 2-day event held entitled Soviet Realities, the People, Politics, and Culture. And the Ukrainian community will be participating in that also. Ukrainians will be showing their culture through their dancing. The Sum Dance Ensemble and the Plus Dance Ensemble will perform. Yevhen Lulak is involved in that, and one of the moderators, speakers, will be Bogdan Fute. Ukrainians will also be having an exhibit of religious artifacts. So just follow the newspapers for additional information on what's going to happen on those 2 days, March 22nd and 23rd.
Speaking of March, Tamara, the next Ukrainian Magazine show is March 31st, 7 to 8 o'clock on Channel 2, as we said earlier,
Right.
and Channel 33 in Webster and the city.
And going further into April 28th, the Ukrainian Plast Dance Ensemble will hold their annual dance recital at West Uraniquoit High, April 28th. And also performing with them will be dancers from Auburn and the Suma Dance Ensemble.
A date to keep in mind for May, Mother's Day, is May 11th, and that is going to be called the Evening in Cave Cabaret.
Right.
We're going to have the Cossacks from Toronto, Canada. We're going to have Alex, the international
Oh, he's wonderful. He's
performer. We're going to have Ron Cahute, who has just performed in Rochester with the Upstate Accordion Festival. We're going to have two local Ukrainian-American bands, Good Times Veselka and Maldi Night, performing at this cabaret. And it's going to be a fundraiser for the Ukrainian radio program.
It's their 5th anniversary.
5th anniversary of that show. Again, the date is May 11th.
And speaking about events, we'd like to show a board of all our donors, right, that we had.
Starting to grow for us.
Right, and we invite everybody else who would like to donate to please do so we can keep our program on the air one more month. And only with your support can we do this.
And we remind you that it is nonprofit. We do have a tax number, so your donations are tax deductible. Send your donations in. Help preserve the Ukrainian American culture.
And the address is 227 Vineyard Drive. So please let us hear from you.
And Tamara, what do we have coming up next?
Now we have a special treat for you. We have a clip from a movie based on a 5-act drama by Ukraine's one of the foremost literary figures, Ivan Franko.
We've heard of Shevchenko many times,
Right.
Taras Shevchenko, who is the greatest Ukrainian poet.
Right, and this is Ivan Franko. Ivan Franko was born in 1856 in Halechina, Western Ukraine. He was a famous poet, prolific writer, dramatist, publisher, scholar, and critic. His contribution to Ukrainian literature was truly remarkable. The son of a village blacksmith, he spent many, many hours observing his father's trade and listening to the villagers' conversations. These early experiences developed in him a profound respect and love for work and the working people. As a young student in Drohobych, he read and was deeply affected by Taras Shevchenko's Kobzar. He began writing poetry and prose. He attended Lviv University, and already at that time several of his works were published. He received a doctorate of philosophy degree from Vienna University, but his cherished dream of teaching at the Lviv University was never realized, since he was barred by the Austrian ministry from holding a position at the university because of his Ukrainian socio-political activities as a university student, for which he was twice arrested and jailed. Franko's prose works were written in a realistic, naturalistic style. He was first to introduce the modern industrial world to Ukrainian literature. His two most famous works were a historical novel, Zahar Berkut, and an allegorical poem, Moses, which reflects Franko's thoughts about Ukrainian struggle for independence. Franko died in 1915 after a long and difficult illness, but his literary legacy has enriched not only the Ukrainian culture, but has added much to world literature, along with two other stars of Ukrainian literature, Taras Shevchenko and Lesia Ukrainka.
And we are about to see, Tamara, some of Franko's works in a movie form.
Right, the drama, it's called Broken Promises.
А тепер по-українськи, Тамара.
Так, «Украдене щастя», драма Івана Франка.
It says, ми десали фільм з України.
Так, з України. Наш подарунок вам. На цим кінчається наша програма. Нам дуже було приємно з вами перевести цей час. І просимо вас, якщо ви маєте якісь зауваги чи побажання, просимо, пишіть до нас. Нам завжди приємно почути від вас. Так, Василю?
Так, Тамара. Спеціально, як приходить День Матері, як би гарно було, щоб ми тих всіх матері побажали їм багато здоров'я
багато
і
щастя і много літа з нагоди День Матері.
Скажіть нам, а ми це для вас зробимо.
Так, як ви хочете якийсь подарунок вашій мамі зробити, прошу напишіть. Ми дуже радо привітаємо всіх мамів на нашій програмі.
This about, Tamara, concludes our program for tonight, and as you see, the time is really flying by, as I say, when you're having fun. we really enjoy being here and sharing with you our Ukrainian American culture, and we hope that you're enjoying it just as well. We'd like to remind you our next show is March 31st, 85. We'd like to remind you to write and let us know how, how
We always
what you'd
like to
say.
hear from you, and then we can really respond to your needs and what you would like to see. Please let us know. We always like to get a nice letter, or a not so nice letter.
Constructively speaking. So at this time, we'd like to thank you very much for being our audience tonight, and thank you, and God bless.
На добраніч вам.
Добраніч, Тамара.
Добраніч, Василю.